Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Captain John Cashman, the Commandant of Midshipmen here at Maine Maritime Academy. Welcome all to our virtual open house. I'm thrilled to see the number of participants. So along with me, I have several students in the regiment. So I'll have an opportunity here at the end of my very brief presentation to turn it over to them to answer questions. So much like the previous sessions, if you do have questions, please add them into either the Q&A or to the chat, and we'll be able to respond to those as we go through today's presentation. So first of all, you've heard a lot about the regiment. Different professors have referred to it, but I'm sure that you're wondering, well, what is it? In short, the regiment is a subset of the greater student population here at Maine Maritime Academy. It's a structured student-led organization that is really our leadership laboratory. Now, the regiment is required for anyone in an unlimited license major, but it is open to all students here at Maine Maritime Academy. About 10% of our non-unlimited license majors are in the regiment. Along with that, all leadership opportunities are available to them, and you'll see as we go through the slides the number of options that you have. But I want to talk a little bit more about the practical aspects of the regiment itself. Again, I mentioned it is required for all students in the unlimited license majors. So your 5-year systems engineers, the MET majors, MEO majors, and marine transportation operations. It's required by the Coast Guard, the United States Coast Guard, as your part of your training for your unlimited license. Look at it this way. After 4 or 5 years, if you're in the systems program, you're going to leave here with a unlimited license as a third mate or third assistant engineer. And while I keep saying unlimited, think about it this way. That having designation of unlimited means that you are now qualified to be a deck officer or an engineering officer on any size vessel that operates anywhere in the world. So with that comes a lot of responsibility. The other way to earn those licenses is to what we call hawse pipe, where you spend years at sea working your way up through the different rates until you've got both the experience as well as the sea time to qualify for those licenses. So it's almost a fast track in which you're earning your college degree in addition to that license. But straightforward college degree is not going to be sufficient. So the regiment itself gives you the opportunity to gain leadership experience, work within a structured lifestyle. We have various rules and requirements as part of the regiment, but that really prepares you to enter into the maritime industry, which is highly regulated. A lot of that is focused on safety. But again, whether you are looking for an unlimited license or in one of the other programs here at Maine Maritime Academy, there are a lot of advantages just to regimental participation itself. You get leadership opportunities from day one. You'll have experience in small group dynamics, be put in charge in different activities, get to organize a team, lead them to the eventual outcome. And we recognize that mistakes happen. I'd much rather you have those opportunities to develop your own leadership style, to make mistakes, learn from them, and build upon the individual you want to be, ready yourself for your future career. So with that, let's turn back to our first slide. As I noted, the regiment is open to everyone here at Maine Maritime Academy. And again, about 10% of our students in the regiment are not in an unlimited license major. As I mentioned, the regiment is our leadership laboratory. These are just a listing of some of the different billets that are available. Now, I did indicate that they're available for anybody, regardless of the major, and those are really the billets on the left-hand side of your screen. The shipwright one, those are specific to our training ship, the State of Maine. I've got a short presentation at the end, which will talk more about the ship itself. The regiment and the training ship go hand in hand. While we have our student structure here around campus, the regimental participation continues on aboard the ship itself. We oversee the scheduling of watches, which occur 24 hours a day, 7 days a week throughout the entire year. And then underway, the company structure that we have with the regiment continues throughout the summer sea cruises. Back to the billets. This regiment is very much student-led and student-organized. So within that, we have a structure to include the regimental commander and a staff that we refer to as the wedge. A lot of different interests can be accomplished throughout those leadership positions. You may have an interest in public affairs or physical training. You also see a senior striker, and we're fortunate enough to have our current senior striker with us this evening, so I'll make sure to give him an opportunity to explain his role as well as the leadership opportunities that he's been able to experience. The regiment itself is broken up into 6 different companies. 4 companies, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta, are made up of students from all 4 class levels. Then we also have a band and drill company. Band is just as it says. They are a performance band for any regimental functions or parades or other ceremonies that we may have. Any instrument is welcome. We have a violinist who's been an absolutely tremendous addition to our band. And then drill company, they take care of our morning and evening colors, marching in parades, and just as it says for drill, we have a rifle team that will get together at times to perform various drill maneuvers for it. Within each of those companies, you have your own leadership team. So as I mentioned, from day one, you really have the opportunity to experience that teamwork, that small unit leadership, see what works from others, and build your own leadership style as you move forward. And then for our training ship, we have students that basically shadow the ship's crew, everything from the cadet master all the way through to the medical officer, to the boat crew, and to our emergency squad. The emergency squad are the ones who would respond if there was an issue on board the ship, whether it be a small fire or a pipe that bursts causing flooding to a space. They're specially trained to be able to respond to those types of issues. And again, those are skills that will help you out throughout your entire career. And while hopefully you'll never run into a situation where you must use those skills, just knowing that you've got that training and that experience will help tremendously. We also have a damage control trainer, which is down at our waterfront. One of the highlights of our training program, but I want to point out that that was student built. A group of seniors last year created the design for it. And if you have an opportunity to come visit before you enroll at Maine Maritime Academy, I encourage you to take a look at it. It is quite the training simulator for damage control. And again, all student created, student designed. In addition to being part of the regiment, all students in the regiment, regardless of your license or your academic track, take personal development classes. Those are taught by the commandant staff, and we will focus on a number of different topics that are really gearing you towards your professional career in whichever field that might be in. We'll touch upon current events as well as leadership principles. As I mentioned a couple times, we really want you to find the leadership style that works best for you, to test it out, to adjust it, to tweak it, but in essence, feel comfortable with your skills and ability when you leave here. So I mentioned the senior striker. One of the roles of the senior striker is to oversee the midshipman training officers. Those are the students that run regimental preparatory training for first-year students coming into Maine Maritime Academy. They are affectionately known as MUGs, or Midshipmen Under Guidance. And RPT, or Regimental Preparatory Training, is the first 10 days before classes start, which we focus on getting you ready to join the Regiment of Midshipmen and have future success throughout. Again, very much student-led, student-run training with the oversight of the Commandant staff. And here is the Commandant staff. So myself, Commander Lenny Christian, Chief Warrant Officer Ann Kowalski, Lieutenant Kyle Willett, Lieutenant Trevor Snow. They are absolutely tremendous, and collectively we have over 150 years of combined experience in various military organizations, law enforcement, and basically public service. So we are always thrilled to be able to share our insights with you and again help you develop. If you do have questions that we aren't able to answer, feel free to reach out at any time. At the bottom of that slide, you'll see the Commandant's Division email that'll reach out to all of us, and we'll be able to respond to you. So I'm going to take a few moments and show you a video that is on our training ship, really a hallmark of our program here. Both the state of Maine as well as the entire working waterfront have opportunities for you to get hands-on training, to take your classroom knowledge out into a practical environment, and also for the vessels down the waterfront, a chance to just enjoy being out on the water. Our supplemental sailing or supplemental seamanship program that operates after hours and on weekends gives you the chance to qualify and take out some of our smaller vessels just for a nice day on the water. You're continuing to build upon your skills, but it's a great way to relax, get an opportunity outside of the classroom to bond and build those social connections with your fellow classmates here.
When I was interested in coming to the school, obviously I do the ship tour, and that's when I knew this is what I wanted to do with my college career. During that ship tour, I realized that this was a chance to do something, on a really grand scale and work in an industry that's huge all across the world. It just appealed to me right then and there, and I'll never forget the first time I stepped on the ship and went up to the bridge. This is what I want to do.
First day or two, I'm confused here, where to go. You could actually tell the ship comes alive.
Freshman cruise was pretty neat because that's, the first time that I ever went to sea, and I experienced a lot of new things on that cruise, just be it, going overseas, being away from home, having a chance to actually go to work.
Well, the high point for students, I think, is once they get away from Cass State and actually get out on the ocean. A lot of us if you have a good trip across, it's not too rough, that's great. And you get a lot of the navigation done, celestial and whatnot. See your first foreign port if you've never been there. I guess probably for the cruise, the freshmen would be going to the foreign ports, going out to sea for the first time. Seeing things like dolphins and whales jumping all over the place, getting nice weather, going from the green water of the Gulf of Maine into the Gulf Stream where it turns deep blue and you go blue. The high point for them is they've been to maybe even been to some of these ports before. They're working on getting things done, getting their classrooms work on ship is getting that out of the way. To give it a little more responsibility and, assisting with the freshmen and guiding them, so to speak. They're held accountable for things more too.
Although it's a lot different than freshman cruise. Freshman cruise was really like, okay, I get my chance to travel and kind of, do what I need to do and learn as much as I can, but still have some fun. I'm really looking at this upcoming cruise as a chance to work and a chance to grow as a professional. I know personally that I need to improve my watch standing and just my overall, capacity as a mariner. And I think being on the training ship gives you a controlled environment and the time to really do that. So I am definitely looking forward to my junior cruise. I'm super nervous, but I'm ready to work hard and do what needs to be done.
All right. I want to also note that you saw a lot of students in uniform, and wearing a uniform is certainly a big piece of regimental participation. We model our uniforms after the Navy style, and we use the same rank structure as the Navy and the Coast Guard, which is part of the requirements. But I want to point out that there is no military obligation as part of the regiment. The next presentation is on the Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, and an excellent opportunity to supplement with the regimental participation, although it's not required if you are outside of the limited license program to be in the regiment if you're also in ROTC. Again, you can be in ROTC and not in the regiment if you're in one of those other majors. But and for those of you that are interested in military service and also service as a strategic sea lift officer, that next presentation will be perfect for you. But just want to make sure that it's clear that while we wear the Navy style uniforms, we use a lot of military training as part of the structure of the regiment. There's no military obligation for it. Some of the other presentations likely talked about the summer cruises. You saw the presentation that referenced the freshman and junior cruise. During your sophomore summer, you will typically go out for cadet shipping on a commercial vessel, again, operating anywhere in the world. If you were part of the unlimited license majors, if you're outside those majors, but part of the regiment, you'll spend your various summers doing co-ops or working on board other smaller vessels, again, anywhere that those vessels are operating. So a lot of neat opportunities. But now, especially with our students, I'm going to hand it over to Midshipman First Class George Albert. Again, he served as our regimental senior striker, overseeing all of the midshipman training officers. George, if you talk a little bit about your role as a regimental senior striker and maybe a bit about what a day in the life of being in the regiment is all about.
Yes, sir, will do. So hi, everyone. I'm George Albert. I'm the senior in the MTO program. Like Captain Cashman said, I'm the regimental senior striker. So what that means that, so actually currently we're in Mug Month. So midshipmen under guidance. They've done their regimental preparatory training, and they're doing their academics as being involved in the regiment at the same time. So they're normally, without COVID, we're doing things on the weekends. We're getting involved with down at the waterfront, being on the ship, and we're doing these things called sound offs, and they're kind of like they take songs or something that's popular today and they relate it to the school and kind of make an interesting, fun time for them. And it's more of a camaraderie piece. So back to what my role is as the senior striker is, it's my job and the regimental operations officer, his job. Together we are training the incoming class to become part of the regiment. That's getting their uniforms looking right, that's shining their shoes, the belt buckles need to be shined, learning their proper greetings, learning who the commandant staff is for the first time, realizing that we're all here and that there is a military-ish standard that still follows it. There's no military obligations, as Captain Cashman was saying, but we still follow the same rules and regulations that the military does. So that's our job, is to do that. Now, a day in the life of the regiment is just that. You're waking up in the morning, you're going to musters, and musters are pretty much like an accountability check. So there's about 650 plus students that are in the regiment in total, from your freshmen to seniors, if I could talk. And so we need to get accountability, and we need to know where they are. When you're on a ship, you need to know where your people are. If all of a sudden you see people at dinner that night and the next morning you're not seeing them for breakfast, hey, where'd he go? What happened? Did he fall overboard, or is he just taking a little extra minutes and sleep in his rack? So we need to know where your people are. So that's the point of doing musters and accountability. After that, then it's the academic day. So from 0 to 8 in the morning, so roughly 1600 or 4 in the afternoon, without COVID. Then there's this academic day, and then starting at about 7 at night till about 9 o'clock at night, there are night classes. So if you've signed up for a night class, not always the best time, but some of the times are the only ones that'll either fit in your schedule or the only time the classes are offered. And that's the regular academic day. For the mugs, there's a muster at 0650 in the morning. There are certain pathways they have to walk on campus, and that's just for them to build time management into their schedules. Everything that we do within RPT, within the regiment, all has a purpose. There is nothing that we do or don't do that doesn't have a purpose that we'll show you later on. So another thing is for the mugs, when they're reading their main braces, which is a book of interesting facts about the school and about the training ship, about the commandant staff, and different kind of learning aspects that we'll go through during RPT. They have to hold them at a 45-degree angle from their bodies at 90 degrees parallel to the deck. A deck is the floor for not nautical people. And that's so that when you're giving a salute to either the officers that are around campus or when you're walking up the gangway of the ship and you're going to salute the ensign, that you understand how to properly do it. And that's one thing that when I was a freshman, I was like, this is so stupid. I don't understand. And then afterwards, when I started teaching about it, I was like, oh, this makes total sense. So that's one thing that in the beginning you don't think has a purpose, and then afterwards when you're asking the questions, like, oh, this does have a purpose. Another big training aspect that we have, and Captain Cashman has talked about it as well as some of the other professors, is our training ship. So getting down there and learning the ship, learning the different navigational aspects on the ship, learning that the main engine is an 8,000 MAN engine or man engine, realizing that every ship is unique in its own aspect. So learning the nooks and crannies about this one, because you're going to be here for 4 years and you're going to use it for different training environments. But two, this is one that you need to understand. If something breaks, okay, well, one, if is it important that it's broken, or it doesn't need to be fixed immediately because it's going to cause something else to fail. But either way, you need to realize that it's an aspect of telling the people above you. So if you're the freshman walking around the ship and you realize that something doesn't look right or doesn't sound right, then you need to tell the people that are on watch with you, hey, I realize this. You mind come taking a look at it with me? And they go with you and you realize that, oh, nope, that's okay. It's been like that. It sounds out of the ordinary, but nope, it's okay. Or, oh, that doesn't sound right. Let's further take a look at this and see what's going on. And if it's something that, as the student, that you don't feel comfortable dealing with, then you call up the ship's crew and you'd be like, sir, this is what's going on. I see this, and should I do anything about it? Or is it okay to wait till the morning? Or can you tell me what needs to be done? Or where to go and find these things? And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, nope, it'll either wait till the morning, which is okay, and they'll either help you, come with you and show you how to fix it, or they'll be like, okay, I'll be there as soon as I can, and we're going to fix it right then and there. And that's something that we just need to be aware of. The other thing is that being a deck student, when the winds pick up around here and there's a hurricane or a tropical depression coming around, what happens? If one of the lines parts on the ship, what precautions do we take? So those are one of the things that you need to know. Captain McAvoy, who's the master of the training ship, told me that there was a storm coming, and he goes, yep, we probably are going to have 60 knot winds tonight. He goes, you know what to do, right? I was like, sir, I don't. Can you refresh my memory in case? And he looked at me and he goes, okay. And he goes, if something happens, if one of the lines parts, which I don't think they will, but if they do, he goes, the anchors are sitting on the brake. So all you got to do is go up there, release the brake, and we'll deal with it later. I looked at him and I was like, okay, sir. And hoped and prayed that none of the lines broke. Because if that happened, there had been a lot of calls. But nothing broke, and the ship is still sitting exactly where it is. So those are all good things.
Thank you, George.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best things is you just highlighted the responsibility that are placed in your hands and your fellow students' hands right away. And as you mentioned, being on watch on the ship, that it's really up to you and your fellow classmates to keep the ship safe, keep everybody on board safe. So excellent job. We have a couple questions that I want to touch upon before our time is up. The first one asks about the Maritime Graduate Program, the MARGRAD program, and that's a Coast Guard specific one as an officer commissioning source. So for folks that do not go to the Coast Guard Academy, there are 2 ways to commission. One is through Officer Candidate School, following a a 4-year college degree from any school, any accredited school. And the second is the MARGRAD program. So that's for a graduate of a maritime academy in any of the 6 state maritime academies. So the question is, do you have to be part of the regiment for it? We recognize that most all the academies, maritime academies, all students are in the regiment. Maine's a little unique there where you don't have to be, or it's a very competitive program, and the Coast Guard is really looking for their MARGRAD candidates to have that leadership background and that comes from being part of the regiment. So in short, yes, if you're going to be competitive for the MARGRAD program, you do need to be in the regiment. You do not have to be an unlimited license major, although that's typically what the Coast Guard is looking for because they want your experience through our training program as well as through the experience you gain on commercial vessels as well as our training ship, but it's not exclusive to an unlimited license major. So if you're a graduate with a skill set that the Coast Guard's looking for, then MARGRAD is certainly possible, as well as Officer Candidate School. So again, 2 commissioning sources open to you by coming through Maine Maritime. For folks on summer cruise, we have email that transmits throughout the day during the entire cruise, regardless of where we're operating. So that's our primary means of communication back home, reaching out to friends and family. And when we do pull into port, whether it's a U.S. port or a foreign port, certainly cell phones are often available, although you have to be cautious with your cell phone plan that you're not racking up huge international charges, but they're usually short-term plans and calling cards that you can purchase. In essence, yes, you'll be able to have fairly regular communication, but realize that students on watch or conducting maintenance or training are going to be busy throughout the majority of the day, but they can certainly send you sea stories back and forth. There's a question about the physical requirements for being part of the regiment. We don't have a specific standard like the military does that you must meet for both entrance as well as to be able to remain in the program and then commission. That said, physical fitness is a big part of our training here at Maine Maritime Academy. In addition to physical fitness, it's mental fitness as well. Being on board ship is incredibly rewarding, but can also be fairly tasking at times, especially if you are out in tough weather, you're standing watch from midnight to 4 o'clock in the morning. You've got to be mentally aware and physically fit to be able to do that. I've mentioned briefly the emergency situations. So if you've got to respond to a medical challenge or a damage, you need to be fit to do that. So we focus on fitness, but it's really an enjoyable lifetime type fitness that we push. And there are weight rooms on the gym, along with stationary bicycles, a few treadmills. So when the weather's good, there's plenty of opportunities to work out. I'm going to hand it over to Kelly to answer our final question. But first class Albert, again, really appreciate your time. For everyone's time tonight, if we didn't get to your question, do please reach out either to admissions or to the Commandant staff. We look forward to hearing from you.